I got a funny story to tell you before we get into today's video. 2 links, as always, down below to credit the WWE for piecing this together. Yes, the text results and the YouTube channel to WWE that has the full video highlight recap. So I'm severely delayed, and in the couple of years that I have been actually on this channel for the wrestling here, there's a couple times where I've been delayed by a day or two. Maybe I was sick, something came up, or whatever the case may be. This one, 2 reasons. I could have sworn in past history, especially around Christmas, when you're like literally a couple of days away from Christmas, that there literally was no Raw or SmackDown on those days. They just kind of recapped throughout the year. So I didn't really give it much thought, but I also legitimately completely forgot that I had simply not watched Raw. I was like, oh, wow, it's Friday. Then I looked at my channel randomly and was like, oh, shit, I'm 4 days late. And I started to panic. I started to hyperventilate. Then I realized I get like under 20 views on average for these videos. And I was like, well, what fucking difference does it make anyways? Right? I could be 4 months late for this. I'd probably still get the same amount of views. So I'm nice, calm, and collect. So we're going to get into it. And I just finished watching the show. This was great. I think this was pretty much like one of the highlights of the night, and it started off with somebody other than Cody Rhodes or CM Punk, 2 people that, by the way, I adore. Drew McIntyre came out with a very, very good promo, as always, talking about a family member that had passed away and how he had to go back to Scotland, how only one person checked up on him, phoned him to see how he was doing, not just physically, but mentally. Says that Roman Reigns and CM Punk are the 2 villains of the WWE. And Sami Zayn came out and said, don't you think I've suffered some losses and missed some birthdays and weddings and funerals and whatnot? Not that the people that died would care, because exactly. Sami now in the business, some 22 years. Drew McIntyre closing in on near 18 years. And Sami had enough of Drew, and this time Sami was the aggressor, smacks Drew, gets smacked back, and then Jey Uso comes out to the rescue, as you can see here. Now I got a couple of things to say about this, because don't forget, with these highlight recaps, I also try to, when possible, of course, I'm not just going to say something for the sake of saying something. Main point of these recaps isn't just to actually tell you what happened. Io Sky defeated Natalya and moves on in the tournament. Like, you probably already know the results. The main point, just to kind of recap on this recap, is to share with you my thoughts on things that are happening. So, for example, Io Sky was a first round of the triple threat for women's Intercontinental Championship tournament. That's going to happen on January 6th, Netflix premiere, I do believe, is when we're going to get that. It was Io Sky versus Alba Fire and Natalya. Now, I got some stuff to say about this. I thought Natalya did well. She did her little double sharpshooter. Don't think I've ever seen that before. It was very interesting. A lot of people have been pushing and campaigning. This is what I want to talk to you about now. About Natalya. Now, first off, I want to say that usually Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, is that her name? You know, the unholy union. I'm usually a little bit like, Sometimes people are great. They just don't sweep you off your feet. Does that make sense? There's people arguing and debating, like, for example, Beyonce versus Rihanna. I've got nothing against Beyonce. I'm just more Team Rihanna. If I had to pick one, I'm just going with Rihanna. Plain and simple. Really not that big of a deal. When it came to them, Unholy Union, it was just kind of like, whatever. I have to admit, seeing her here and in a couple of other singles matches, or just in general, I got to say she is pretty good. Natalya is one of those, like, is one of my favorite female wrestlers for many reasons, because I think she's great, and of course her lineage and all that, Jim the Anvil Neidhart being her dad, and Bret the Hitman Hart being her uncle. Like, you know, I'm a little bit biased maybe, right? And she's Canadian, I'm Canadian, whatever. But even all that shit aside, I think she's great. She's very accomplished. My issue with Natalya now, even though I wanted her to win, and in a way her not winning made me go, well, okay, that's kind of good. It was contradicting. It was mixed emotions. It's nothing against Natalya on a personal level. They have used her like John Cena as a stepping stone. How many hundreds and hundreds of days has it been since John Cena won a match? Right? They almost practically turned him into a jobber. That's nothing against John Cena personally. This is nothing against Natalya personally. As much as I would want her to win, then again, Chelsea won, but that's a little different in a way. Hard to explain how, but it is. I'm conflicted. On one end, I'm like, you know what? Give Natalya the belt. Let's not give her. She's earned it. But because of the rampant misuse of her in recent history, in my opinion, being overly used as a stepping stone, always losing practically, I feel like she's slowly losing credibility. And again, that's no fault of her own. That is the booking. Maybe I don't understand the wrestling business, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. These are just my opinions based on my observation. Potentially, you could say something in the comments section that's like, no, you got to look at it this way. And then, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Maybe I'm missing something. But out of the three, Io Sky is something effing special. Like, I mean, really, really special. And to think, if it's true, that Ricochet said, oh yeah, she's great, but I can definitely do everything she does and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Io Sky's Japanese promos are better than his English ones. And I don't even know what she's saying. He's a clown. Pretty sure he actually did say that. I saw the tweet. I don't know if it was AI'd or Photoshop or whatever, but it seems to be authentic. And I'm just like, you're fucking ridiculous, dude. So that's my big rant on that. So she won, Io Sky that is, and I'm thinking, unfortunately, that was the proper choice. However, a very, very close second for me would have been Natalya, but they would have had to have changed her and making her just not such a job. Okay? That's simple as that. Backstage, Judgment Day, further crumbling from them as you have the banter between Liv and, of course, Finn Balor. Now that Finn Balor's lost the belts and all that, like I should be sitting here with 2 titles. Instead, I've got none, blah, blah, blah. It's just inevitable. I mean, we all see it. All I have to say on that is I'm really excited to see what direction they're going to go with that situation. And what I mean by that is, like, could Liv, Raquel, and Dom, I got to close my eyes to think so I don't get distracted. Could they be the ones, yeah, to somehow go face-ish? Could there be a way for them to reunite with Rhea, or would we never want that? And Damian Priest, which again, the Terror Twins, they just kind of fizzled out into nowhere. Or could we somehow have Finn, JD, and Carlito turn face? Which, to be honest with you, I would prefer that if I had to pick them as a group. If I had to pick individually, it would be a hard toss-up for me between Finn and Dom. I think Dom, if somehow I'm not saying he should, I'm saying, but if he did ever become a face, I think that would pop so hard. It's unbelievable. Something happens to Rey Mysterio. He's getting the absolute hand out of his life, ass-kicking hand out of his life. And then Dom, I don't know, just somehow just comes to the rescue, whatever. That would be huge. Finn, too. I don't know if the pop would be as big. Doesn't mean it's not as good. He's been face before. Well, then again, so is Dom. But arguably, Dom is hated more than anything. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on that. It's just a matter of time, as we know. and I'm just really anxious to see how the whole thing is going to play out. Simple as that. Now, we have Akira Tozawa versus Chad Gable. I like this match. I really like Akira Tozawa. I really, really like Chad Gable as well. Truly is. He's being pushed as, and quite worthy, of being like a Kurt Angle clone. I really think that even though he's a bit short, whatever, because he's actually strong and very capable in the ring, he's believable. Like, he really is believable until you throw him into the ring with someone like Brock Lesnar. But, that's another story for another day. No, but for real, I do think he needs to have his time someday. I don't know when that's going to be. That's definitely somebody that I feel has earned it. Obviously don't like the heel turn for him. Some people I like as a heel. Some people I just don't. He's one of them. He's doing a great job. That doesn't mean he's not doing a good job. Just, okay. Chad wins with the ankle lock, and then Otis looked like he was having a seizure at the end there in the ring when Chad Gable just was repeatedly going off on Akira there. And then all of, I almost said Alpha Academy, American Made came in, and like I said, and that's where Otis just had to twitch. And then everybody's like, well, don't fuck with this guy, and they just left the ring. Not really realistic, but whatever. It's, okay? It's supposed to be funny sometimes, and that's perfectly fine. What do we have here? Good thing I got my notes. Damian Priest defeats Dirty Dom via disqualification. So Dirty Dom versus Damian Priest said he had a plan with JD, was hiding a Santa Claus at ringside. Carlito was busted under the ring, right? When he got caught, and Damian just lifted up the apron or whatever it's called under the ring. He just spat out his apple. To me, that was just absolutely crazy. And then Finn came out as well. And I'm thinking, as the beatdown happens, where's Rhea? Where's Jey Uso? Because for a while there was like a camaraderie. There was like that, you know what I mean? Little homeboy bromance thing between Jey Uso and Damian and Rhea. And I really, really liked that. And seeing it on screen, and now that's completely gone. Instead, out of nowhere, fucking War Raiders. Love the War Raiders. Doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just not who I was hoping was going to come out. Okay, it's just, they were really pushing those Terror Twins there for a while. Rhea and Priest, all of a sudden, they're just gone. And I'm like, whatever. Backstage interview. This was like, like in a calm, quiet room there where it's all like professional looking or whatever. Oh, there, right there. And it was Seth Rollins talking about his disdain for CM Punk with Jackie Redman. And it's like I get a little bit from a scripted perspective where he's coming from. But at the same time, this feud is a little bit weird. Like the Drew McIntyre one and CM Punk, it grew to that. It totally grew, and it was like, oh, yeah. This one, honestly, I'm not really buying it. I buy him being upset. The level at which he's upset, I'm not buying it because CM Punk is not reciprocating that same energy. If somebody just hates you and fuck you, you left the company, you were talking shit, and it's like, yeah, I know, I was whatever. Not in a good place. I left, I came back, and now he's really good. He's doing good backstage and all this, that, and the other thing. And he's just going off while the likes of CM Punk is like, I don't even hate Seth. I don't even think about him. It's like, that's not an insult, right? It's saying, look, man, whatever animosity you have towards me, great. Because you're on your own in this, because I'm not sharing the same sentiment. And for him to still be able to harbor it, he's acting like, CM Punk slept with Becky Lynch. Calm down now. So I'm just personally not really understanding it. But again, January 6th, Netflix debut. They're going to fuck each other up. And it's going to be nice to see how that plays out as well. Alrighty then. Yes, so The Miz versus Dexter Lumis. One-on-one. We knew it wasn't going to stay that way. a man carrying Cross and AOP showed up. And Karrion Kross, as you could see there, the way he's dressed, that's awesome. Looking like John Wick. It's pretty wild. I love it. Disqualification again. And then the Wyatt Six showed up, and then we had a little bit of an all-out brawl there. And Dexter Lumis does, in fact, defeat The Miz, but via disqualification. Really impressed with Dexter Lumis. I really like him. I've always liked him. I always thought there was something special about him again with the, the gimmick of acting all crazy, which is why I feel like he just fits perfectly in with the Wyatt Six. He's really kept up in shape because he was gone for a while. And, yeah, like I'm just glad to see him back. Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, all of them. And yes, I'm not going to lie. I forget this guy's name. Like I know as in like I could look it up. Joe Gacy, is it? Gacy or something? I didn't really know much about him at all until he came to the main roster. I'm just being honest, right? But yeah, this little situation again, I really like it. Uncle Howdy wasn't there. At least I didn't see him. I'm really liking this feud. I think these are two big factions, and I'm just enjoying it. I really, really am. Like a lot. And again, going to be interesting to see where this goes. I say that a lot, but now we have Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston with an in-ring promo saying, look, my mama doesn't need to see her son disrespected, this, that, and the other thing. She's even disappointed in Kofi Kingston. And then she leaves. She leaves. Man, Dom backstage, I didn't write this down, but I'm remembering it off the top of my head. Just give me a second to have a sip of my veggie shake here. Even Dom was like, walks by them, he's like, hey man, you understand how we feel? And Dom's all like, I didn't like Big E, but man, that's just messed up. And then just keeps walking. I was like, wow. Like even Dom isn't understanding of their behavior, because that was just brutal. And I still think the whole thing was a bit wonky, to be honest with you. I understand being upset, and in the sense of like, look, I get you went through all these things. Where have you been? Blah, blah, blah. Because you've been able to do this, that, and the other thing, but you haven't even been able to come back and, support us, whatever. But to the degree that they did what they did, again, I don't get it. That's fine. That's fine. A lot of things in life I don't get. I'm not losing sleep over scripted stories in WWE. It's fine. I might like some stories. Some I might find stupid and ridiculous. Like the old school pillow fights back in the early 2000s. What the hell was that shit? But whatever. Still watched it. Okay, so that was that. Drew versus Sammy. Thought this was a nice match. Remember that this year alone, Drew McIntyre is 3-0 on Sami Zayn for wins in their careers combined. Drew McIntyre has defeated Sami Zayn 10 times. Sami Zayn has picked up a goose egg. Picked up nothing. That's okay, because he defeated Gunther, right? Dethroned him. And that was huge. Sami Zayn is one of those believable guys again. He's not the biggest, whatever. But he, in my opinion, he's made himself believable, a threat. He really is. He's an average-looking guy, which is great. I think that's awesome. Not everybody needs to look like a Jinder Mahal, or I'm using Jinder Mahal because of the whole 3MB thing back with Drew McIntyre and all that. Not everybody needs to look like a behemoth like that, or like a John Cena, or The Rock, or Roman Reigns, or anything like that. You could be a Sami Zayn. You could be a Kevin Owens and still be very believable, right? And so yeah, so this was really nice. Post-match beatdown, Jey Uso came out to help, but then Solo and his bloodline came out as well to hit Jey, and then that's how we ended up with this picture at the very top here. was them on the ground. I don't know if Sammy was like tickling Jay a little too close to his armpit, and that's why he's laughing or giggling. That's just me trying to be funny. It's not working. It's okay. But yeah, this was nice. It gave me something to do today, like I said, because I was a little bit like brain fog. I've been super sick lately. And I may not sound like it now, but believe me. But I'm getting a little bit better, so whatever. Yeah, it was a nice treat. I was like, oh, what do I do? Like I said, then I checked out my channel. I was like, oh, shit, I got an hour and a half of Raw I can watch. And now tonight is Friday Night SmackDown. I believe the last one, 27. Yeah, December 3rd or January 3rd or something like that. Well, they're not going to Netflix. But what I'm saying is I think tonight is the last SmackDown before it moves over to 3 hours. Maybe. Don't quote me on that, but we're right around the corner either which frickin' way. Okay? Yeah, and then when it comes to Raw on 23. Yeah, 30. Yeah, that's right. So we still have one more Raw before we head on over to Netflix. Okay? That's enough rambling. As always, 22. Jesus Christ. My video is longer than the official recap. No wonder nobody's watching it. But that's okay. I enjoy making these. The proof, not for the money. I don't think in my entire couple of years I've been on this channel, if you were to combine every single video I've ever posted on wrestling for recaps, you combine them all together, I don't, honest to God, and I'm not exaggerating, I don't even know if I've made $1. I'm not kidding. So you can't tell me I'm just in this for the clout, for the money. Even if I was, bitch, I gotta get paid. Fruits and veggies are expensive. $50 Yeti coffee mugs are expensive. That's good coffee. Anyhow, I hope you all had a great Christmas, that you're going to have a good New Year. Shit is funky, wacky in the world. It's absolutely ridiculous. Moving into 2025, I'm just going to keep trying to progress into just staying chill, calm, neutral, seeing people both sides, whether it's politics, wrestling, because I have a politics channel. And just hope that somehow the world's just not as crazy. I have a bad feeling it's going to be just as crazy, but I'm trying to have some hope here. So, take care. You know what to do. Thumbs up as always if you liked the video. A thumbs down if you didn't like it. This time might be a little different. Because that Solo Sikoan Spike. Remember Sikoan. Because he's Solo Sikoa and he's Samoan. The Sikoan Spike, if you give it a thumbs down, is now this time this week. It's a special. It's a Boxing Day special. You're getting it from a leather club. And it's not lubed. Let's just not talk about it. If you want to subscribe, naturally that would be great now, wouldn't it? But if not, trust me, I get it. Maybe I'll see some of you in the next one, if I'm lucky. Bye for now.